Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Flickering Myth. My name is EJ Marino, and today we're diving into the new Disney Pixar movie, Soul. You saw the title of this video, and it's kind of a controversial title, but it's kind of my mindset about the movie. Is this a best picture contender, like people are saying? Some people want this to be more than just best animated film. This is one of the best movies of the year. Or is it overhyped that some people are calling it? It's kind of the thing when a Disney movie comes out and a lot of people are praising it. You have that crowd that comes up and says, it's a little overhyped. I would say I let the hype kind of ruin it for me, but I also think this is one of the best animated films I've seen in quite some time. It's a tale of two reviews. This is a movie that I kind of wish people just tempered my expectations. I was expecting a mind-blowing experience. I was expecting that Pixar stab to the gut, turning the knife and going, how do you feel? Are you sad? I didn't really get that from this movie, but at the same time, it's still an incredibly well-made movie with some of the best visuals I've seen from Pixar in quite some time, and an overall great message where I was just like, oh wow, the positive story is like, being a teacher's not a bad thing. That's not a bad story. Yeah, I enjoyed this film for what it is. It's not one of my top tier films of the year, but looking at animated films of the year, I would actually put this above things like Wolfwalkers and Over the Moon, just above them, but still not like, it's weird for me because I like this movie. There's something I like, but I just don't love the movie. Hopefully during this review, I'll figure out what I don't love about it. The character Joe Gardner, voiced by Jamie Foxx, is a middle school music teacher who is trying to find his place in the world of jazz. He's a passionate piano player who is just trying to get that big break that would elevate him. When he has the chance to play for an artist he really respects, he's excited. He's going to change his life, even though his mother does not want him to. She wants him to have the more steady job as a teacher. He's down to be an artist. So on his way to get hyped for the big show, a crazy accident happens that separates his soul from his body. His soul is in the great before, a place where souls find their place and go, find what makes you you. And that's what I liked about this movie. Once we get to the great before and all that, the great beyond and all that weird visual stuff, this movie becomes a surreal adventure. There were some visuals that I did not expect from this movie. It was getting to like strange. I'm talking like, that weird moment in 2001 Space Odyssey where it's just weird visions and you are just going down that tunnel of the black hole or whatever. That's what this movie reminded me of at times. I was completely blown away by the artistic visuals. Sadly, they did not stick, and we played a little bit more in the New York environment than I personally would have wanted to. That's where I think my biggest flaw comes in. As soon as we're not in that weird soul dimension stuff, it feels like a normal Pixar movie. It loses that magic. It loses that luster. It's kind of something I didn't enjoy about a movie that gets compared to a lot, Inside Out. Inside Out is a lot of the stuff with the emotions, and then you have the human stuff. I really didn't like the human stuff as much. Actually, hell, even a worse movie, but kind of the same thing, the Emoji Movie. Every time they would go to the human stuff, I'd be like, what are we doing here? This is what I felt about Soul. When we started doing some stuff with the human world, I don't want to spoil anything, because this movie is pretty interesting and actually has some turns. Once we stop a lot with the great before and all that, I start going, oh, this is fine. And that's the whole middle of this movie is where I was just like, okay, I'm trying to figure it out. But that beginning and that ending makes this a little bit better than I would have expected from that middle section. This year's had some great animated films, but for me, voice acting is one of the hardest things for me to critique. I don't like when a voice actor just sounds like they're just blankly putting their voice onto a character without spicing it up, without trying to add something new. Well, that is not here. From Jamie Foxx, Questlove, Graham Norton, Tina Fey, Angela Bassett, Queen Angela Bassett, everyone does an amazing job. They're transformative roles. I'm not personally a big Jamie Foxx person, but I loved him. He is Joe in so many ways. I just talked about that in the Cruise review, where you could replace Nick Cage or Ryan Reynolds, and I wouldn't miss them. They don't really add anything that makes that character theirs. But Jamie Foxx is Joe. It's so amazing. Same thing with Tina Fey as 22. I really enjoyed her character. I thought she was so entertaining, so funny, even though she was a bit of a pessimist, and she reminds me of Vanellope at times, where I was like, just maybe I should listen to her, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know how I feel about you, but I like that character. It gave me more. My personal favorite was Graham Norton as the Moonwind, I think his character's name was. He was a strange character, but just added something great. I personally loved the Graham Norton show. I think he should do more voice acting because Casey is so good here. But yes, after this year of me being okay on voice acting, especially when I look at like something like Onward that I did not like this year because the voice acting was so distracting and so bland, I'm happy that Soul definitely said, oh no, we have strong voice acting that is only going to elevate the material, and the material is good, but it needed that voice acting to elevate it to the next level. Could Soul be on its way to the Oscars for Best Picture? That's a conversation I've been seeing a lot this year. It's going to be obviously nominated for Best Animated Feature. It could even win. Actually, I think it's probably the front runner right now because it's that good and critics seem to be liking it. I don't know if it's Best Picture material. In a world of 10 movies, I think I can name 10 movies and still not include Soul on that list. But at the same time, I think Soul deserves a spot in a bigger conversation. This movie feels more than just animation. The visuals are there that feel like a fun art house movie. The voice acting is there that we like in normal animated films, but it's that stuff that made things like Toy Story so iconic with good voice acting that sticks to these characters. I really like this movie. I'm torn. I don't think it's an overrated film. I think it's a little slightly overhyped maybe. I think the hype, I was kind of sold on it a little bit and didn't get exactly what I was expecting, but at the same time, I keep saying it's a powerful film with a good emotional stuff, not as emotionally sad as I expected, especially a movie about artists. That usually hits me. Coco hit me hard. This movie was just okay in that aspect, but there's still heart and soul in this movie, no pun intended. There's still heart and soul that I think are there in what makes this so loved. I can see why critics are liking it. Even though I wasn't personally blown away by it, I can see why, and I understand the hype. I may not buy into the hype, but I see the hype. Alright everyone, that was it for my review of the new Disney Pixar movie, Soul. Like I said, I like this movie. I would highly recommend it when it comes out. Do I think it's the best animated movie I've ever seen in my entire life? Did it hit me in my soul like I expected? No, but it's still a strong film and probably the best animated movie I have seen all year. Alright everyone, that was it for our review. What you guys think, let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe to Flickering Myth because we make videos like this every single week, and give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy this video. Alright guys, let's talk about Soul down below.